young, homeless, and living in their car. Numbers are exploding.
Young people experiencing homelessness. They need help, but they often go unnoticed.
A growing number of people on the streets are children and young adults. High cost of living is a major factor.
Today I'm going to meet up with a gentleman by the name of Dustin, who is exactly that. He is young, he's homeless, and he's living in his car. He's going to give us an inside look so that we can learn exactly why and how.
The housing crisis and job loss affecting families, but also impacting many young people.
Thank you, bro, for having me, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, G.
Nice meeting you, man.
Where are you staying at now?
So currently I'm like in between staying in my car, staying in here, and then staying at one of my friend's houses. She'll let me sleep on her couch and stuff, and you know, that's like occasionally I can shower there and do laundry and stuff, and then I have another buddy in Phoenix to let me stay there every once in a while, and then like I have friends that like me, you know, crash on their couch and stuff while I'm trying to figure something out. Mostly, I stay on this side. So I'll stay over here with her and then stay in my car. I'll move around a lot. I'll go from over there on the north side, so like 7th Street and Bell, basically. I can stay over in there in that area because those people are usually pretty chill. And there's a hotel over here that I was staying at too, and a trailer park where I was able to park. Even though I'm like staying in my car, I'm couch surfing, you know what I mean? Like there's a level of gratitude that I at least have my car. I have people that want to be in my life, you know what I mean? I have people that support me and people that care about me. My family, you know, they're kind of like right-wing and stuff, so they'd always be like, oh, those people made their decision to be out there on the street. A lot of stuff happens to people they have no control over, and a lot of people end up in really bad situations. I was on fentanyl since 2018 up until I want to say like 4 months ago, 3 months ago. There's like an actual epidemic happening. If we can go drive over here, dude, there's a QT down here, and there's a bridge next to the QT, and I've gone down there a couple of months ago, back whenever I was using, and it's super sketchy. Like it's really scary. It's a super clean QT, super nice, and literally 50 feet away, like there's a whole bunch of like addicts and stuff, and these people have no clue like that's going on. And my power steering went out recently too. It's just, you know, just little dumb stuff, man. You just gotta stay like blessed and stay happy about it, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's just part of the game, man. It's all just another day in paradise. This is right here on the 60 too, so like, you know, like down there towards Phoenix, the 60 is kind of like crazy. And it spreads this way too, you know. I like it out here because there's not so much of that wild type of stuff.
Dust, how did you get on fentanyl? I'm seeing a lot of young people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind-blowing.
But I would attribute it to a lot to the music, bro. Like, I listen to Gucci Mane a lot and like 3-6 just because that, you know, and like Suicide Boys and stuff, and they all talk about like, you know, perks, and like Migos talk about it. And that kind of made me comfortable with the idea of taking them, you know, taking painkillers. It's like all these rich dudes are doing it, you know what I mean? Like I can do it type stuff. And it's really not that cool, you know? And then you meet people that are like, oh, if you smoke them, you get higher. It's just a steady progression. It's just one thing after another. I started drinking when I was young. My first beer was, I was about 9 or 10 with my dad. And he wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't like the best guy either. He was a hang around for the Hells Angels, so you know, kind of a rough dude, and you know, had me drinking young. He did coke and like speed and stuff back in the day, and I drank with him when I was young, and then I started drinking after my mom passed away. They both died. My dad died when I was 11, my mom when I was 13, so I moved in with my grandma, and then, you know, ultimately when it comes to like childhood trauma and addiction go hand in hand. So it was gonna happen regardless, where I was gonna have an introduction of more substances, but I started drinking, making friends through drinking at school, because they were like, oh, it's cool, this kid's bringing like bottles of, you know, vodka to school and stuff. They'd be like, oh, do you want to take some of my like clonazepam? Okay. Do you want to smoke some of my weed? It's like, okay. And then you start smoking and like taking pills, doing stuff like that, you know? And then I got like $80,000 from my mom when I turned 18, because she was a postmaster. So I got the 80 grand, and then I was listening to music stuff. Suicide Boys had just come out, and like I was listening to like Gucci, and like, you know, Migos were really popping, and I was like, I want to start trapping. So I took a bunch of that money and bought a bunch of fucking coke with it, bought a bunch of lean because it was cheaper back then. That was my first introduction to opiates, was lean. And so like I'm doing coke, drinking lean, taking Xanax, you know, just stuff like that. That wasn't that big of a deal back then because everybody did it. When Lil Peep died, 2017, that's whenever everybody first heard of fentanyl, was when Lil Peep died in Tucson. That was my first time hearing about it, and I was like, that's crazy, you know? I kept doing coke, and then it's turned into like an addiction, and then it turned into like having to do coke. That's my homegirl's like little CRV right there.
Okay.
Because she lives here. I met her through staying here, and this is where I would like sleep and stuff. So we can pull up here.
All right.
I'm kind of tall, so I have to, you know, do this, kind of set this back like this, and then I would lay across, right? So I would lay across like this from like the back, my head up there with like a bag or something, and then lay across all the way to the front. You know, I'm like 6'1", 6'2". That's the optimal space, you know what I mean, lengthwise. I would try to like sleep this way, but then I'd mess up my back and I'd like, you know, get all scrunched up and stuff. So I laid across like this. It's the easiest way, man. This is the car, man. It's a 2002 Ford Taurus. Got 125,000 miles, which is really good for 2002. A 3.0 V6 in it. It's got some issues and stuff, but it's got 2 matching tires in the back and 2 matching tires in the front. You know, I can't really complain. This is everything. This is my whole life, is this thing. And people don't realize that, like, you're driving next to somebody, all it takes is somebody to make a mistake and their whole life is ruined, you know what I mean? Like, this is, a lot of people, this is their whole world, is their car. And like, I drive, you know, pretty carefully all the time, dude, totally aware. Every time you go somewhere, you have to be aware. I'm just looking for a career, really. I'm looking for something that I can build at and I can grow at, you know? I'm sick of this kind of stuff. I told myself the last time I would never do this again, but you know, here I am. Yeah. It is what it is, though, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's on you, bro. You have to
do it, man.
Yeah.
It'll happen too, man. You know, I'm not the type to be like, oh, it'll fall in my lap either. Like, I'm a go-getter. You know, I've always been like kind of a hustler and stuff, and always entrepreneurial minded. So, you know, I'm not just like waiting for something to fall in my lap. I don't want it to sound like I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm just out here floating, because I'm really not. You know what I mean? Like I said, I work on cars. You know, do drywall for people, I do side work and stuff, so like, I always have like money. Like even now I have like, you know, a little bit of money. I think I have like 200, 300 bucks, you know, which isn't a lot, but you know, some other people living in their cars, like they literally have like $10, $20 type of thing.
Nothing.
Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is, man. And I would love to work for myself, you know what I mean? I'd love to be able to do something just me, because I don't like people like over my shoulder watching what I'm doing. It makes me anxious. But, you know, it is what it is, and at this point, it's becoming that where I just have to do something. I just have to find some sort of job to get a paycheck. But just because like the work's slowing down, the car stuff is slowing down. Everybody's cars are working good now because I've been messing with them. You know, only person who's not is mine. So it's like I got to take the time to do it for myself too and fix up my stuff. But you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I don't like to complain and, you know, moan about it, that it's like, oh, I'm so miserable, because I'm really not, man. Like, I'm happy, you know, I'm healthy. I really don't have anything stopping me at this point. Like, there's nothing stopping, not even myself, you know. I'm out searching for the opportunity to present itself, you know. Once that door opens, or once that door, you know, presents itself, I'm gonna open it. I've seen a lot of crazy shit before I turned 13, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen my dad and his buddies like beat the fuck out of people at a bar, and like, you've seen a lot of violence and a lot of shit really young. Like, I never seen my dad beat up on my mom, but I saw a lot of like fights and shit. And then when they got divorced and he died, my mom married a meth head, and then I seen, you know, him beating up on my mom and shit. And there was one day where my mom had left, and she had just gotten paid, and she bought me a new dirt bike and stuff, because it was like getting close to my birthday. And so she bought me this dirt bike, and you know, he comes over and shit, and they're like arguing inside, and I'm just like bringing in the groceries, like, oh, it's just another fucking Tuesday, you know what I mean? And then I hear like a bang, and it just sounds like a cup smashing on the ground, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I go inside, and this fool's coming around the corner, and he like puts a gun up to his head and like shoots himself, and I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And I like slammed the groceries on the ground. I grabbed and as soon as that happened, because I had been like, there'd been so much trauma up to that point that I was already in like fight or flight all the time. So as soon as that happened, I like didn't even react emotionally. I was just like cold and calculated, like, all right, I need to get my little brother, get him to the backyard. He can't see any of this. Move my little brother to the backyard. You know, went around the side, moved him over there. I was like, stay here, do not move. And he's like, what's going on? And I was like, it's okay, just do not move. And like, I go inside, I grabbed like the house phone, because this was back in like house phones, and then I I called 911, told them like what had happened, and like I started looking for my mom. And, you know, by that time, my little brother had, you know, not listened to me, you know what I mean? Came inside, because he was just as independent as I was, came inside and, you know, found my mom laying on the kitchen floor, you know, and there was like a little hole in her face, and, you know, he's trying to like wake her up and stuff. And he's like, Mom. And I'm like, nah. I grab him and I'm like, no, dude, go outside, you know. And then he goes outside, and just all the stress and everything had made him like vomit. And I remember that distinctly, like him leaning over the railing, like vomiting, and then just start bawling his eyes out. And so like I'm on the phone, I'm like, you guys need to get here. This dude killed my mom and killed himself. And so they came, you know, we sat in the back of a cop car, me and my little brother, for like 4 hours while we waited for my family to come. Because it was Tonopah, so everybody for the like square 10 miles had came down our road, and it was just fucking filled with cars, dude. Like the news team was there. But,
how old were you then?
I was just about to turn 13.
I'm sorry to hear that too, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I appreciate it, you know.
Did your life change at that point?
Oh yeah, dramatically.
Night and day?
Dramatically, completely different. Completely different. You know, it doesn't sound messed up to me saying it now, because I've accepted like the fact of it, you know, because back then, like, I think of myself as like a whiny, bitchy little kid that, like, you know, that was uncomfortable constantly, and now I feel like I can be comfortable anywhere. So like with all of that bad shit that's happened, I feel like it's made me who I am, and I can't say that I'm not blessed for that happening, you know, if that makes sense. It's given me a new appreciation for life, you know, and that took many years, a long time for me to accept that, you know, through all like the nights of me being alone, through all the nights of like me wishing I could talk to my parents, is that like I still love life, and I still want to be here, and I still feel great that I'm here, you know what I mean? So yeah, it dramatically changed, dude, dramatically, night and day. Completely different, and it made me a completely different person. So at first, you know, it turned me really cold, and I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't trust anybody, because I was like, they're just sent here to like hurt me and ruin my life, basically. You know what I mean? Because I love that dude that killed my mom. You know what I mean? That was like my dad after my dad died. You know, that was another man that filled that role.
How long was he around?
Oh, dude, less than a year.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, bro.
So mom divorced dad.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a year, this guy shows up. How long would you say that he was living with you guys?
Oh, fuck, like 4 months, dude.
4 months, and 4 months later, he
killed my mom, yeah.
Damn, so you heard the shot for the mom, but you seen him.
I've seen him. Dude, his sunglasses, he was wearing a pair of sunglasses on his head, hit me in the face, bro. Because it was a 357. Like, his head literally, and not to get too graphic, but like, his head literally expanded, and it fucking, like, sunglasses, bam, right at my face, dude. Crazy shit. I'm older than he was when he died now. You know, he died at 24, and I'm 2 years older than him. So, you know, all I can say is that I'm blessed to be that. I can at least, you know, everybody says the best revenge is success, and that's the best revenge I could ever think of, is that, like, I'm older than he was, I'm doing better than he was, and I'm happier than he ever was. So, you know, the fact that that dude took something so dear to me and so precious as like a mother, like, all I can say is, like, you know, doing better than you. Like, you may have taken everything from me, but at least I'm still here. You know what I mean? I'm the one that's still kicking, and every day, like, you know, because it's hard not to think, like, be like, oh, you know, how would you not want revenge on that? And, like, what would you do? It's like, my revenge is, like, every day I get to dance on his grave. You know what I mean? I get to be here and, you know, experience life and see all of the joys and all of the pleasantness, and meet people, and, you know, have conversations like this, you know what I mean, and meet interesting people. So, like, that's my revenge right there, is that I get to do that every single day.